Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to another recording of Hearthstone. Today is April Friday the 13th and we're kind of having a little bit of bad luck. We're on the European account and I guess I need to trade out this 50, which 50 gold now is win a single game with the Shaman and play Shaman cards. I guess I could do that relatively easy and then get 10 victories. So we need to get our Druid, Rogue, and Shaman decks playable. And by what I mean playable, I mean actually playable. Because only two of what HS Replay suggested as far as decks that were... These were the closest ones that hsreplay.net had to my collection that I could build. And none of them are right. So we're going to have to replace cards and make decisions. So we need Druid and Rogue deck and Shaman. So let's see. This hand Druid deck was the closest one we could play. We need to replace this card. Add this. So we'll take this instead. And take this. We need to replace this card. Wait a minute, why am I... Replace this card. Let's see. Take this. Replace this card. The graphics are actually glitching. It's highlighting the wrong card. So we'll take that. Replace this card with that. And then with that. We'll place a 5-4-1 with this one, yes. And then we'll take this and take this. I don't know how that though. How is a 10 mana card like this getting replaced with Wild Growth? Whatever. So now we have a playable deck for the Druid. And then we also needed Shaman to, like, we're missing so many cards. And that's all this expansion for the Witchwood was for the European and Asian account, is we were opening classic packs of cards, trying to be able to make decks and have a variety spread to build something like this. Let's see, do I need a basic totem? Whatever. And we're putting all of our faith into Hearthstone that they're actually suggesting good cards as replacements and they're not just generally picking random things, which they could be. Take this. Let's see. We'll take this, I guess. And take this and take this. And what this is saying is that we just don't have good cards. Really, yeah, that's all saying is that my decks suck so bad that I can't even get on the meta decks. But maybe these cards will prove themselves to be helpful. We've got a couple more to replace. Take that legendary instead of one legendary. We'll take this instead of that. And take this instead of that. So now I should have a workable Shaman deck, although I just need to play Shaman cards. So I also need a Rogue deck that works. So Tempo Rogue, missing a lot of cards. I don't have Prince Khalid kill a Sith, so we'll take that. We don't have Edwin Valclear, so we'll take that. These cards must have weights internally, because some of the ones that are getting suggested more and more. Yeah, I feel like it would be more varied. Someone want one copy of a minion from your hand. I don't like that Night Prowler card. I just got rid of something I had, so we'll just use Deck Helper to build a deck. The other thing is the glitch of new cards still being marked as new, so let's take a moment to try and mark everything as not new. Like, clearly not new cards. There we go. Alright, that should get us set. We need these victories more than anything else. Playing Shaman cards is easy. I'm gonna probably have to do a post show to get these 10 victories for the 3 different accounts. Like, it's just gonna be a nightmare scenario. Start Druid. We're ranked 24 right now, but I can't even bother to play ranked, so I'm just gonna play casual. Yeah, once I get all the news done, and there's quite a bit of news, and I guess it's a good thing that we're having an overlap of slightly difficult daily quest with a lot of news this Friday. But once I get it done, we're going to a silent post show. It's been a lot of streaming. I streamed on Wednesday, I streamed on Thursday, I'm streaming on Friday, I streamed on Monday. I think I streamed on Tuesday. I may have streamed every day this week, come to think of it. Yeah, I think I may have just sadly realized that fact. There's a game on Steam called Chinese, spelled Chineze. It's an HSK Chinese Proficiency Quiz Trainer. It is from a developer who has made only one other game that also is built around learning Chinese. So, at what point do you call a game propaganda? That is kind of a hard question to make. This game doesn't look terrible. Looks like a cell phone port. You're shown 4 different things in what I assume is simplified or traditional Chinese, and then in English. And I bet there's not very many words in it. I bet it's not that great of an actual study guide. Again, educational software. We saw this a little bit earlier in the previous recording. It's just like, why would educational software be available on Steam? Particularly if your market thought is to sell it to schools. Yeah, this Chinese game is early access. It's $1.99, no discount, no reviews. I'm not going to trust somebody who has like the Unity asset logo stolen and used in their game, which they do. But also, I'm just going to not trust a no-name to teach me a language. I would prefer there to be some credibility there. That way they're not teaching me the wrong words or slight slightly wrong translations of words. Alright, moving on. PC Gamer has an article, Hunt Showdown's first performance patch promises a smoother experience. What is Hunt Showdown, though? Is this the one where you're kind of in a forest and you're fighting a bunch of monsters, and it's kind of... Yeah, I think it is. I didn't even know that game was out yet. This trailer is not doing any justice. Hunt Showdown went into early access in February. So let's see. You're a bounty hunter, you kill monsters for gold. This is the game I was thinking of. But it's really crazy that Hunt Showdown is in early access. It should have been a finished project before it was released at all. Moving on, the silly looking game has got some more coverage. Mother Simulator. So PC Gamer is giving them some coverage, which I don't like. It really is just a ripoff of Who's Your Daddy, and just looks even worse than that game. It's Mother Simulator's early access. Yeah, I guess the thing about Mother Simulator might be that you're actually doing more things to actually care for the baby than just Who's Your Daddy is, because Who's Your Daddy is just trying to literally stop the other player who's playing as the child from killing himself. Like we see in this trailer, you're actually trying to make milk for the child. I would much prefer a game where you play as a main character who just happens to be a mother. And the sad statement is, like, the closest person I can even think of that I would say that there's a game like that is Bayonetta, and she wasn't really a mother. Like, and that's a real sad statement. Like, it's like the comic book industry where they can't write Spider-Man as being married because they don't think the audience can relate to somebody who's married or has potential children. Although I guess they're proving that slightly wrong, because right now at least one version of Superman does have a son. There are a couple of games where there are fathers in the game taking care of younger children. Yeah, that'd be interesting. Let's see. PC Gamer has another article that's what happens when Fortnite hits China. Well, it'll probably get a lot more players and a lot more cheaters. I don't really care to read this whole article because it really is just a clickbait title. It's like, oh, we're going to use the word Fortnite. Let's see. What if I did this? Gain 6 armor. And then gain 6 more armor. Now I can deal 6 damage right there. Close the story, move on. We have a game called Supipara, Supipara, Chapter 2, Spring Has Come. It is an anime-esque visual novel. Actually, it looks like it actually is based on an anime, and it is by a developer who's made the game Eden. So, right. This looks like real anime, magical girl, trailer intro with actual effort. Of course, the intro is always going to look better than a lot of the other content, but every single screenshot, I mean, oh, it is a real nice feeling to look at this and see some games come to Steam that have every screenshot looking good. So many games have terrible, terrible art style. It's become a ridiculous joke. Every picture, a painting. And I'm probably overselling it, and this is probably just a stupid visual novel that nobody, that I would never play. But wow, every screenshot, and it doesn't even have that many screenshots. There's 5, it looks like, where some of the terrible games will make 12, 20 screenshots, and they're all black backgrounds with nothing going on, and nothing viewable at all. And this trailer is so bright. It's such a anime opening musical trailer. The characters are dancing around. Every character is getting a name. Ah, man. Its publisher is Manga Gamer, which apparently has put out almost all of the good anime visual novels, I would say. Has an all-time users of 19, came out the 12th, and it's positive with 100% of 22 users rating it positive. Full audio in Japanese, English in interface, and subtitles, but no Japanese interface according to the way they marked that, which that's probably not accurate. Give me the Lich King, sure. Give my minion +1/+1, and give me some more armor. Yeah, it's a shame. I should have played this. Let's see. Since this is chapter 2, it says Supipera won't conclude in a single game. It will be released as several standalone episodes. Fans may freely pursue only the episodes that interest them if so decided. You could say it's a light novel series and an independent stories that develop their own unique personalities all in one, which is an interesting idea. One positive review says, definitely buy if you're a fan of slice of life. Read chapter 1 first. So yeah, this is, now I'm always going to put the visual novels not in my wish list, but in my follow list, particularly the anime ones, just because I don't want people purchasing me visual novels to cover it. It won't work well. It just won't. I'll have to read all the dialogue out loud because none of them are going to be in English full audio, and that's not going to be fun for me. But I'm as sold as I could possibly be sold. On that. In comparison, the next game is called Yafti, Y-A-F-T-I, which it's a fake troll game from a fake troller that is filling Steam and still hasn't been caught. Let's see. Here's one that was 2015. So he's been putting out fake troll games since 2015, and it looks like garbage. As one user review came out to 12. It's 15% off for $4.24. And the one review is positive, which is questionable. It's possible that this isn't a fake troll game. I may have jumped to conclusions, but it could be just that it is an ugly student project game in a platformer. That could be also a way to describe it. Take one. Destroy all minions with the top card from your deck for each minion's destroyed. How about we do this and then do this. Then do this. Then do this. Alright, we gotta kill at least one of these guys, so we'll do that. And we'll attack here. And we'll attack here. PC Gamer has an article that says Hearthstone's new expansion already has a game-breaking combo. So they have a video of Shadowwook Insane OTK one-turn kill Disguised Toast. So what is Disguised Toast doing? Apparently Shadowwook, which replays all the cards, all the battle cries that have happened, apparently it has a way of doing a battle cry that duplicates itself, and when it duplicates itself, it seems like it re-triggers things. Let's see if we can get a better explanation. Here's how it works. The new Shaman Legendary Shadowwook has a battle cry effect that repeats every battle cry you've played over the course of the game, but in a random order. Your goal is to build a very specific pool of battle cries which, when played together with Shadowwook, are so potent that you can kill your opponent in one, maybe 2 turns. You can do this by playing the following cards. Let's see. Draw 3 cards to get 2 mana crystals. I'm gonna lose here anyway, so let's do this. Do this. So if you play one Serenite Chingang, which has the battle cry, summon a copy of this minion. So when repeated by Shadowwook, it'll summon another Shadowwook. One Life Drinker, which deals 3 damage to your opponent's face while restoring health to yourself. Either a Murmuring Elemental, which casts your next battle cry you play twice, following by Grumble World Shaker, which will return the Murmuring Elemental into your hand, reducing its cost to 1. Or a Fire Plum Harbinger, which will reduce the cost of the Murmuring Elemental to 1 while still in your hand. In that scenario, you still have to play Grumble at a later time. Once all of that's done and you have 10 mana plus your 1 mana Murmuring Elemental, and you play Shadowwook and your Shadowwook in hand, ready to go. You play your Murmuring Elemental to double the effect of your 9 mana Shadowwook. And at this point, you pretty much won the game because of the Serenite Chingang. The Shadowwook will summon a copy of itself. Because of Life Drinker, your Shadowwook will deal 3 damage to your opponent in the face. and because of the grumble, you'll return the clone Shutterwork to your hand and reduce its cost to 1. All of this happens twice, which eliminates the randomness of the order of the Shutterwork plays out of the battle cry pool, so you're guaranteed to end the turn with at least 1 1-mana Shutterwork in your hand. Interesting. Unfortunately, I don't have that card. I don't have Shutterwork. I may have Life Drinker. I may have Murmuring Elemental. I don't think I have Saronite Chen Gang. And I don't think that's going to stay the way that is forever. Alright. That's one victory. One victory down. Let's keep on going. Next game we have on Steam is being developed by somebody just named Josh. Second game they have on Steam. No discount, $4.99. It's called Time Skip. Let's look at it. Looks like an asset flip. The assets he used look good, but when you look at the user interface, they are very basic life bars with no flair and no art. And I imagine there's not really a game here, that this is some kind of almost walking simulator. They're saying it's a new indie game with stunning graphics and gameplay mechanisms. Teleport, create lasers, warp time, solve puzzles. If I could believe this, I'd want to play this game. But I just don't. It doesn't look good enough to be true. There are no reviews for it. See, I'm watching the trailer. I'm seeing lasers. I'm seeing platforms getting created out of the air. It almost looks like it's a game that somebody actually knows how to make a game. But I don't believe it. I really don't. And some of that just comes down to the credibility of the developer. Like when you name your developer Josh without a last name. When you don't have a company in doing business as. Like if I was as an indie video game developer going to make anything, I would make a company name. I would fill out a little bit of paperwork. I wouldn't just call myself Josh and put that on Steam. It says it's a solo made video game. Like, I feel like Fox Mulder and the X-Files. I want to believe in Time Skip, but I know it's not true. I know it's just an asset flip. I know it's gonna be a disappointment. I don't really know, of course, but it certainly seems that way. Tragic Master came on the chat, said Shutterwalk is a fun card. I got it as my free legendary. Yep, I'm lucky. I don't know if I ever, in the end, liked any of the free legendaries that I ended up getting. I think I would much prefer that if they had gone back to, like, Whisper of the Old Gods, where everybody got Cthulhu, and everybody knew that everybody was going to get Cthulhu, and that would have been cool. And in a weird way, I guess I want to go back to Whisper of the Old Gods anyways, is that was the last expansion that I guess has really caught my attention and looked fun. Next game we have on Steam is called Super Sario Fly. So it seems like it's going for a spoof of Super Mario. It is $12.99 with no discount. And it looks like a platformer where you play as a pterodactyl and you're flying. But it also looks like it's Flappy Bird. So you're tapping a button or tapping on the screen to maintain your height when you're flying, which I'm not sure if that's the best thing. You're a pterodactyl in caveman times. Let's see. Take that. Attack here and attack here. Apparently there's a boss fight with a giant boxing dinosaur and a giant snake. But this looks animated well. While the name may be a goof, and while it may possibly have been a cell phone game being ported, there's original art here that looks decent. It doesn't look great. There's an original concept. Dinosaurs have kind of fallen out of favor for the most recent generation. They don't really have like Jurassic Park to fall onto or old dinosaur books. It doesn't have a third-party EULA for some reason, and it's too expensive for sure. And there's no reviews on it. But even at that, I'm still going to put this one on my follow list. That's an all-time list of 6 people playing it, and it came out the 12th. It says it has 16 funny levels. Let's see. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. This, and then the turn. Apparently, unless I'm mistaken, this is Neil Patrick Harris was on one of the late night shows, the one with the fat guy. The fat, maybe British guy. Not the skinny British guy for sure. And he was talking about playing Myst and playing Abduction, which is slightly interesting, just to show that famous celebrities and actors are now rendered. We've hit that point where maybe politicians aren't young enough to have played games in their youth, but at least the young generation of actors and celebrities have. Gamma Sutra has an article. Nintendo is soliciting pitches from startups for innovative Switch tools and tech. So my guess is that they're trying to look for more things they can do, like the cardboard idea. Draw a card, gain armor, gain health. Like, this entire deck is built around having cards in your hand. Interesting. Yeah, I guess they feel like they need something new to the Switch, and I guess that would feed into the theory that a version 2.0 of the Switch might be closer than it probably should be. They're looking for things like Nintendo Labo, which is the cardboard, but they're also looking for people who are just could do better with the motion tracking and the HD Rumble and the Joy-Cons and the tablet in general. Like, I think Nintendo is so addicted to the gimmick that they now just can't see past gimmicks in their consoles, and they feel like every single console has to have Wii joystick controls or something else in them, something that makes it stand out, when really if Nintendo just threw everybody for a loop and made a more powerful Xbox One or PlayStation 5 than what Microsoft or PlayStation could make, they could do quite a lot of amazing things. Like, I don't think developers would feel too bad if they jump ship from Sony and Microsoft and put all of their games on a Nintendo if the Nintendo was powerful enough to play their games and look the best. But they're not interested in doing that, certainly. Let's see, so many of these pages say the exact same thing. And they're usually back to back too, which means I opened a tweet and then I opened another tweet right next to it. There's this game. Let's see, is there any information here about when this game is coming out? I think we've already talked about this game, and so this is just more information about it. Like, yeah, Code Princess EX slashes its way onto the Switch this summer, so no date. So I have no real reason to talk about Code Princess EX again. It is a weird looking game. Let's see, what do we want to do? Plus 1 attack and plus 1 attack and this. Should have played that first. Let's see, armor and then armor. The Donkey Kong champ, or I guess to be more accurate, the now former Donkey Kong champ, Billy Mitchell, has had all of his high scores wiped after cheating evidence emerged. So Twin Galaxies, as I understand it now, has completely just banned all of his scores. So his perfect Pac-Man score, Donkey Kong score, anything else. Let's see. Let's see. The quote is, Twin Galaxies has meticulously tested and investigated the dispute case assertions, as well as a number of relevant contingent factors, such as the veracity of the actual video performances that the dispute claim assertions rely on. In addition to Twin Galaxy's own investigation into the dispute case assertion, at least 2 different third parties conducted their own explorations and came to identical conclusions that he was cheating. Let's do this, and this. Like, this one won't die. This one. There we go. I could have attacked him for 1 damage there and I missed that. Most notable was the third party, Carlos Pinheiro, that Billy Mitchell engaged to help examine the disputed case on his behalf, utilized whatever original equipment Billy could provide, whose final finding was consistent with Twin Galaxies' investigation and others. While the use of emulated copies of the game is not enough to say Mitchell cheated, the discovery Mitchell was not using an official untampered Donkey Kong arcade machine is enough to see his scores excised. We now believe that they are not later down it says we are not, a few sentences down it says we now believe they are not from the original unmodified DK cabinet, PCB, and so an investigation on the tape content ends with that conclusion and assertion. The thing here that I'm wondering is there something that a way to cheat in the old days without having emulation software, Or was it just emulation software? Like, because when he got those scores, he was recording on VHS, so it's not like he would have had a brand new modern computer running emulation. It more feels like you would have had to cheat some other way, like soldering in something like a Game Genie. Not actually a Game Genie, but something similar to that. Onto a board. So this now, Twin Galaxy now says that Steve Wiebe was the first successful over 1 million score on Donkey Kong. First to post 1 million points on Donkey Kong's. But I don't even believe Steve Wiebe right now owns the record on Donkey Kong. He might not ever get it back either. But Billy Mitchell, I don't see how he comes back from this. I think he's through. And he's already threatening to sue people, so I wouldn't be surprised if he tries to expand down that realm. Let's see, if I do this, do I get excess mana? No. 2 damage to a minion. Now, this Your Gamer article doesn't seem to say that they took off his other scores, like his Pac-Man scores, but I'm pretty sure I saw that they did. But I doubt this will be the last we hear of Steve Wiebe too, because a good villain never truly goes away. It's half of this is really just wrestling drama in the speedrunning world and the high scores world. And in all honesty, you really can't trust any of the high scores on anything on any site. It's probably all cheating. Like, is there a way I could make this guy draw a bunch of cards? Could I heal? 1 damage and draw. Man, if I had one more mana, I could have done this, killed this, and then attacked and done that. But if he accidentally healed all his characters. Come on, heal yourself. Heal yourself. Oh, don't take the victory. Darn it. Rock Paper Shotgun has a review on Dead in Vineland. Is this game out yet? It looks kind of interesting. It's got a nice artistic style. Yeah, it's on Steam. So it came out April 12th. It's positive. 85% of 41 reviewers. It has an all-time peak of 924 players, which is really, really high. Like, really, really high. So this is, I guess, one not to miss. Well, speaking of missing, we were doing Druid or Rogue. Well, I don't think we played Rogue once so far, so let's try Rogue. Not getting victories. Curse of Friday the 13th. Dead Violent is 10% off for $17.99, but it looks so good. It's got a Metacritic rating of 78. Here's a negative review, just for fair. Like, don't get me wrong, the game is nice. The management is thought through. The story good and it's fun. The problem is the game is how events happen. This is the perfect example of a roguelike Yet the only random factor there is the order of exploration discoveries. Everything else, the dialogue where you find the shipwrecked encounters, do all following a set order. That's horrible. If one of your characters dies at the start of the beginning, you have to listen to the same things and click and click and click. There's zero replay value in it, and worse, even before you finish the game, you get annoyed by having to go through the same things you already know. It feels more like an adventure game where you can die and have to restart again. And I'm not touching it anymore until there's a more random factor implemented. Interesting. But I'm not put off by that. The numbers are too high. 924 people at a single point have played this game since it came out the 12th, yesterday. So this is like the first big seller we've seen in quite a while. That being said, this also feels a lot like Darkest Dungeon, so I wouldn't be surprised if this is a big audience of Darkest Dungeon fans moving over finally from Darkest Dungeon to this. This game isn't early access, it's a finished product. That's got some points for it. So I'm going to put that in my wish list, but I already have Darkest Dungeon and haven't gotten around to playing that. Gamasutra has an article called Stick and Twist, Balancing Randomness and Strategy in Hearthstone. With the newest expansion, I'm not going to read this article, it's not that long, but with the newest expansion, there's not a lot of randomness in standard play. There's not even really too much randomness added to wild play because there weren't that many random cards added in Witchwood. So they're getting more and more to strategy, which they need something. They need something to increase the win ratio. Like, I would just think that whenever a player runs out of cards, it should just be a draw at that point. Both players win. Just so you can cheat. It takes so long for somebody to run out of cards anyways. Like, cheaters aren't going to play people and wait until 30 turns have happened, or even if you get it down to 15 turns, that's still a long game. Or maybe you do the penalty damage as it stands when you run out of cards, but when both players run out of cards, it becomes a draw. Maybe there would be some strategy there that would be interesting. But there needs to be some scenario where very frequently there are draws and both players win. And that way you get above the 50% and you could push people closer to 75% win ratio. The other thing is duration of games. Games are just really, really long compared to the daily quest you're giving me. Like, here we are, brand new expansion, started yesterday. First thing they gave every single player, win 10 standard games. That's way too much. Way too much. Let's hit this one. Next game we have on Steam is called Archer's Story. It's from a developer who hasn't made anything else. It's 99 cents. And it looks like a student project. It looks really bad. I don't know if you really need to say anything. 2 people played it in total. It includes 500 Steam achievements, so it's a Steam achievement game. Like, why do these games not get flagged? Like, it's so easy to write an algorithm. Do a MySQL, searchable query language, or service query language is what SQL stands for. Something query language. Do a MySQL or an SQL of some language in your database and search all the games that are brand new, that have one developer, that have over 30 achievements and immediately put those up for review, start kicking those games off or not allow them in the first place. Like Steam Direct should limit the number of achievements you could get. It already limits the number of trading cards. They should have known that as soon as they started limiting trading cards, they would. The next thing people were going to already was achievements. So there should be red flags going off, stopping these games from getting approved. If anybody was looking at any of the games, these things wouldn't be approved. Next game we have is called Solace, S-O-L-A-S. Is that how you spell Solace? Or is that just a made-up word? And the rest of the name of the game is And the White Winter. So, extra attack. Let's just keep on attacking this, I guess. Let's see, 2 user reviews. This came out the 13th. Now, this is yet another game that has some bad screenshots. It seems like a very smooth 3D game. I'm looking at a 3D character that's actually animated kind of nicely. They look like a cloth doll missing a face. Like there's just no facial features at all. But I can't immediately reject this, and I can't immediately say it's an asset flip. Has an all-time peak of 4 people playing it. Seems to have a bunch of different people made it. Let's see. And this is the first game by this developer for $9.99. You know, and this game looks weird enough that I might suggest it. Let's see, here's a recommended review. A really great game with clever and challenging puzzles. Love the mysterious and haunting storyline, and the music fits perfectly. Do we have any negative reviews? No, it's just 4 positive ones. And one of them is in Russian. I can't immediately reject this game, so I have to put it in my wish list. It looks good. It looks like it's actually a game. Which is so many times better than most games on Steam. This might just be a 2-hour game where you're walking around solving some puzzles, but even in that, it seems like it would look pretty good and work. This is the type of game and type of animation that somebody slightly lazier would have just turned into a dungeon crawler, and because they didn't do that, I'm happy. I'd much prefer puzzles and adventure over a dungeon crawler. Next game we have is called Dead Ground Arena, from somebody who made a game called Dead Ground Z, both of which are VR games. We haven't had any VR games so far. We've nearly done an entire stream and not run into any VR games. This is your standard stand in one place shooting at zombies. I will say this Dead Ground Arena looks like, even if it is a bunch of asset flips with zombies, it at the very least is doing a better job than what I've seen before. Let's go ahead and play this. And go ahead and kill that. Like, looks like consistent graphics and decently looking animated zombies, and an interface. Has an all-time peak of 3 people playing it. Early access. It came out today. Requires VR. 34% off for $9.89. Let's see. One negative review here is the only thing that's coming up, and it's somebody saying the game just doesn't work for them. So that might be an issue, certainly. So it looks good. If maybe it doesn't play at all. Let's see. We want this, this, and this, this, and this, and that, and in return. But yeah, I guess I would never play Dead Ground Arena. It's probably the best looking standard mode play shooter zombies VR game I've seen so far, but that's not saying a lot, and I still can't really recommend it. Let's see, do we have somebody on the chat? We have somebody new called Ratfink said, great ploy by Blizzard to get people to spend money on cards, because now I can't win any ranked matches because my cards are all wild now. You hit the head of the nail with the hammer there. Whatever that saying is, you're absolutely right. I am having the exact same experience. Like, all of my good decks wild now. So the thing here also is, even if you bought the new cards, you're still probably not going to do too well in ranked, because you're not going to be playing with a strategic method in mind with the new cards, because there's no real synergy with the new cards. The new cards make standard play incredibly simplistic and incredibly boring. Like, as far as I can tell. You're just going to look at the meta rankings and say, is this card a higher value than this card? And whatever card has higher values on those statistic sites, that's the card you're going to play. And it's only going to have a slightly higher value because it's going to do 3 damage instead of 2. And that's just going to be it. You're not going to see any crazy strategies. The right solution, and it's stupid to say it, particularly on my European and Asian accounts, which are less than a year old, but the right solution, I think, is for everybody to move over to Wild. Like, I think that's what we're gonna have to do, is play Wild and only Wild, just to keep those cards playable. Next article we have here from Gamatsu, Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation Tamiki trailer. Another character joins the summer fun for Dead or Alive Extreme. Is Dead or Alive Extreme coming to the West, or did they finally just say that wasn't, they weren't going to bring them to the West anymore? Says Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation is now available on PC via the DMM game portal in Japan. So yeah, it's not available in the West, and I don't think they really have an intention of bringing it to the West, which is a shame. Like, if there was one thing we could always look forward to, it was another Dead or Alive Extreme showing off the plot, as anime fans joke. And there's a real reason. I've made this rant before, but there is a very, very good reason these Dead or Alive Extreme games get made, and it's simply because it improves the body physics, the skin lighting and animation physics, the hair physics, the cloth physics, the lighting physics of a game. You improve the looks of the Dead or Alive fighting game by having a year off and making the stupid relaxing on the beach, playing volleyball, doing photo shoots, girls in bikinis stuff. And that's why Dead or Alive looks good. It gets better and better. So yeah, I guess you're never gonna get to see Tamiki trailer I mean, you could go look it up. It's fine. Moving on. Next game we have on Steam is called Blacksmith. It's the first game from this developer, $9.99 with nothing on discount. Attack here, play that, play this in the turn. So, Blacksmith is a game where you play as a blacksmith. The graphics look like they are drawn in MS Paint. And I don't know if this is supposed to be a joke that they're drawn this way or not. I think it's not supposed to be a joke. I think it's just bad skill. Yeah. Okay, here's like a Naruto clone. So, yeah, this feels like... Honestly, it doesn't even look MS Paint. It looks like it's a high schooler drawing in their notebook and then somebody just scanned their high school drawings into a game. And the gameplay itself doesn't look great. So, if you were going to do a joke of bad graphics, which is probably a terrible thought, let's see. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 to your hero. Let's get this one first. Yeah, if you were gonna play a joke like that, the interface would have to look gorgeous. Everything else would have to look gorgeous. It would have to be like South Park, where South Park looks silly, but is actually done with a lot of care and powerful computers. Right. How are we gonna do this? This does 3, and this does 3. So yeah, I can't recommend Blacksmith. PC Gamer has an article. Warcraft 3 goes widescreen with a new update. The 1.29 patch hit the PTR in February. That hit the PTR in February is now out in the wild. So widescreen Warcraft 3. I never played Warcraft 3, but like I would like to go back and play Warcraft 1. Alright, so now I just need to play Shaman cards, and post-show almost certainly is going to be required to get all of these 7 remaining victories done. So, before I look at Battlecry, let's look at Battlecry Shaman and just see how many Shaman cards there are, because I don't see a real reason to play this if it isn't almost all Shaman cards, and it isn't. So I'm just gonna make a Shaman deck. Shaman deck here, like this, and let's try to avoid anything with overload in it so that we have enough cards to we have enough mana to play the cards. There we go. Custom Shaman deck. And since we're just going to play Custom Shaman and not care about it, we might as well just play on ranked. If we get a victory, good. If we don't, who cares? I guess people professionally play Warcraft against each other. I didn't realize that was still going on. I knew people were still playing StarCraft against each other. And certainly like Dota and things like that, League of Legends, maybe Heroes of the Storm, but I thought that was pretty much it until you start getting into games more like Overwatch. Yeah, let's just hold on to all these cards. Let's see, the game Dauntless has an open beta that begins in May. 700,000 people have signed up for the open beta so far. How many people want to play open betas of games? It seems really ridiculous. Let's see. Dauntless is a co-op action RPG, turning giant monsters into stylish hats. Let me watch the trailer. Like, Dauntless, I think, does catch my attention a little bit. Yeah, it looks like it's Monster Hunter with some of the elements of Monster Hunter taken out, which might be a good thing. Of course, Dragon Scale was also Monster Hunter with some of the monster elements taken out that were too complicated, and Dragon Scale didn't finish production. And I wonder, with the vast success of Monster Hunter, has it been proven that that was the right move? And perhaps there only is enough room in the world for Monster Hunter and no Monster Hunter clones. Let's see. Maybe if you could play Dauntless by yourself, I would play it. Like, if you can play a single player version of that and have somewhat of a decent experience, that would catch my attention. But trying to make groups work together is certainly not going to be a good solution for me. Let's see, freeze and play. And do we have anything we want to do? Let's see. Repeatable this turn. So is unstable evolution, does that mean I can echo this card? I'm gonna wait till next turn and see what happens on that. There's a terrible, it looks like a Chinese company that has several programs on Steam called Natural Landscape, one word, and then a subtitle. So Natural Landscape Grand Canyon came out April 12th. It looks like all their other games with just a slightly different location. It's a VR experience that like feels like it may have been internally developed for something completely different, like a amusement park, and they're just trying to recoup their money. Alright, so let's see. If I transform this, it is repeatable. It's an echo card. So why is there an echo card in this new expansion that doesn't even have echo in the name? They didn't even use the right phrasing. That is crazy. They get rid of Enrage as a key phrase, which makes it impossible to make an Enrage deck. And then they add an echo card that doesn't have echo in it. Natural Landscapes Grand Canyon is $8.99, requires VR. It looks kind of nice for the screenshots, but I bet it's just a sitting experience that doesn't look that good in VR. There is this VRQ test on Steam. I believe this is free. That is really just designed to let you test your VR system and make sure it's working correctly and you've got it configured right. So, I mean, it's probably not an official test, and so it may be telling you the wrong information. It says, in 180 seconds, you'll experience 5 different kinds of dizziness tests, which becomes harder with the testing time. When you feel dizzy, the program should stop and your VRQ rank will give you an accordance. The rank is 1 to 3 stars. More stars means better sensitivity to VR and much easier for you to accept it. Okay. Deal 1 damage to a character and freeze it. So yeah, like try VRQs to see how dizzy you get. This was an older article. I'm going through some of my leftover news from Monday and Wednesday. The Overwatch League says that Dreamcast jerseys can now reportedly be exchanged. Merch from the disgraced Boston Uprising player is no longer in demand. So that they, I don't even remember what the story is. There's been so many stories. This is a PC Gamer story, by the way. If anybody is wondering, it's pretty obvious because they're doing all these stories. I don't know what Dreamcasper did, but people are mad at him. They fired him. These Overwatch leaks want you to be squeaky clean and the best esports player in the world, and those are just contradictory things. In the same way that football players aren't perfect people, and yet we tolerate them. But if you don't want your jersey anymore, apparently you can get it returned. I bet they don't want people wearing those jerseys to events either. Let's see. Tragic Master says Unstable Evolution was from the last set. It was the Echo Beta. Smiley face. Okay, so fair enough, but then they told me they changed 3 other cards when the Year of the Raven transferred over. So why didn't they bother to say, hey, while we're at it, why don't we convert this phrasing to the new definition? King of Fighters 14 version 3.0 update now available if anyone is interested. I guess like King of Fighters feels like it is the 3rd tier of the fighting games. Always. Let's see. Gamma Sutra has an article. Microsoft and other game companies win out in camera patent lawsuit. A federal court has denied Australian innovator Richard J. Baker's appeal of the ruling made in a patent infringement lawsuit he filed in Washington State last January against Microsoft, Nintendo, Ubisoft, and other game companies. I assume this is for the Kinect and similar things. Like Nintendo didn't even have a Kinect. All they had was a very small camera in the Wiimotes, and the bar on top of the screen was just an IR transmitter. Baker alleged that the company's products were infringing on his patent for an instructional device that crucially relies on the camera capturing visuals and transmitting those visuals to a remote compute, much like, say, a Kinect, which isn't even that true. So, like, unless you're arguing that the Kinect was sending all of its data back to a server somewhere, it was a peripheral sending device information to a connected computer, not a remote computer. Let's see, a couple of One Piece screenshots came out for One Piece World Seeker Joma 66 and Vin Smoker family. I guess these are names of characters in One Piece. Like, I assume these 2 One Piece games are going to come out. It's the One Piece World Seeker is due for the PS4, Xbox One, and PC worldwide in 2018. Let's see. One more ranked win to get that season chest. Like, I may have to struggle just to get the season chest, come to think of it. But we're playing those cards, and that's all it needed to. The other game is One Piece Grand Cruise. Launches May 22nd in Americas and Europe. It's for PlayStation VR in the PlayStation Store only. Let's see. Tragic Master says Unstable is a little different than Echo cards. Mechanically, it behaves differently with cost reductions and such. Hmm. I think there's probably a way you could phrase it though. To be an echo card. Tragic Master is becoming the resident expert in Hearthstone, as I'm becoming the resident idiot in Hearthstone because I'm they're adding more cards and I'm not willing to learn the current ones. There's a game called Chrono Mygao. It's Chrono CHRONO space MA:GIA, now available worldwide. It is a iOS and Google Play card game. What kind of card game though? Wanted to from Gung Ho Online Entertainment. Original competitive card game from the Gung Ho character, skill, and card variety. Really would have. Let's just go to their official website and see what it looks like. Gameplay video available. Let's watch what the gameplay looks like. First card game. Oh, it's a collectible card game of some sort. Looks like it's a rather complicated one with some Final Fantasy-esque anime characters, but not too many of them to start off with. Well, I don't think I could decide to get into that. Moving on. There's a game called Zombie Grenades Practice on Steam. Came out April 10th. It's one of 4 VR games made by this developer. No discount. $12.99. And let's see what this looks like. 4 videos before the screenshots. All the screenshots very dark at the bottom. It doesn't look too interesting. It looks pretty well animated. Let's see. Do we have any reviews? 15 positive reviews, no negative reviews. It's kind of suspicious. Let's do this. End the turn, I guess. I guess the reason they had 4 videos at the front before the screenshots is because they really wanted you to watch the videos in action. Seems like you're mostly in a small area and then you're just gonna throw grenades. So it's a VR throw things with some random zombies standing around. They don't even seem like the zombies are coming towards you. And the camera is really flying around, so it might be that you're on rails flying around as a character, as a camera, or maybe you're playing through like a drone, because I'm seeing some pictures of a drone. And well, this doesn't look bad. It actually doesn't seem like it has much of a gameplay mechanic to it. And if you are just throwing grenades all the time, that would be hard on your wrists and your shoulder, throwing grenades in VR. We have a PC Gamer article. Australian Call of Duty tournament cancelled following complaints. It was set to take place in a RSL, whatever an RSL is. When it comes to obvious places to host the Call of Duty tournaments, an RSL club is probably wouldn't place highly on that list. The Returned and Services League of Australia is, after all, an organization which supports those who have served the Australian Defence Force. So they were going to have a tournament inside of a veterans club, effectively. And I could see why people might complain about that. I guess people should have thought that through, but I wouldn't also be surprised if maybe the tournament had thought that through. Like here later in this argument, the Castle Hill RSL president said he hadn't heard any complaints directly. So, for all you know, the members of the RSL wanted the tournament there. Like, it is possible. Like, it's not unheard of for some veterans to play military games, although it has been some instances where veterans don't like to play military games because it brings up bad memories or triggers PTSD. But also, some video games help with PTSD because they can play, they can experience and work through their emotions in a safe environment with a less than realistic equivalent. And they have been treating people with PTSD with video games. There's a game called Hoto Togisu Tyran 1553 Ryuko Atsu. It launches April 26th in Japan. It looks like it's going to be it's a Nintendo Switch eShop game. It won't come to the West. It seems like it's a tile-based strategy game, so I didn't really need to cover that. There's this co-op puzzler. PC Gamer has this article. This co-op puzzler has two players navigate cliffs while tied together with rope. It's called Right of Ilk, or Lick. I guess it's Ilk. ILK. And there's a all bright red-skinned girl and a all bright blue-skinned boy, and they're supposed to be these two tribes of, like, I guess somewhat similar species but slightly different, and they both are wearing masks so they don't have to animate the faces, and they're tied together at the hip, and that becomes a gameplay mechanic, kind of like the game A Tale of Two Sons. There was a point where they were both tied together. They've expanded out on there. What's interesting about this is that it kind of goes to show you how long it takes you to rip off an idea, that somebody is ripping off A Tale of Two Sons right as the creator of A Tale of Two Sons just released No Way Out, which was his next game. Like, Right of Ilk comes out in the summer of 2019, so it's a little too early to be talking about it, but it has a nice trailer. So one of the few games that's really got me like hyped. They've convinced me to be a little bit hyped. However, I'll forget all about it almost certainly by the time it does come out, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I remember this game. It seems like the reason why these two are tied together is that every so often the two tribes send members, one child member from each of their tribe, to do this rite of passage to learn together, to work together. Theoretically, it might be training for them to be the new leaders of their tribes. or something like that. There's a game on Steam called Tetrapank. And what is it? It is Tetris inside of a lot of garbage around it. So there's like a square of Tetris, but then it's inside a round metallic girder, which is surrounded by a bunch of transformers and garbage. Like just assets that have been flipped. It's almost if, is this a VR game? Like, no, it's not. So I have no idea why you would make your Tetris game like this instead of just making Tetris. It's like, what a stupid way to make a Tetris game. It's from a developer who's made some other things. It's 40% off for 59 cents, but it's by far the worst looking Tetris game I've ever seen. And that's saying a lot because you don't have to do a lot to make a Tetris game. Next game on Steam is called Charlotte. Let's see, it's free, so I guess I don't really have to say anything. Came out April 9th. I think the reason why I wanted this is because it's a horror-esque walkthrough game. It has all-time peak of 13 players. It's a free-to-play simulation adventure. Charlotte is a horror puzzle walking sim based on a short story, The Yellow Wallpaper. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna put this on my follow list, even though it's free. We have a game called Twilight Phenomena, The Incredible Show Collector's Edition. This is almost certainly a hidden object game. It's being published by Big Fish Games, which floods Steam with hidden object games, and people buy them, including me, but I don't pay the full price, certainly. They want $12.99 for this game. I can tell you it's not worth that, and that's why there's no reviews for it, and it has an all-time high of one person playing it since it came out on April 9th. We have a game called Rethink Evolve 2, which it looks like it is a puzzle game of some sort that you could actually really sink your teeth into. Came out April 9th. It's from a developer who made Rethink Evolved, and all of those are rated high. Has an all-time peak of 5 people. It's 10% off for $8.99. So it's too expensive. If you bought the bundle of all 3 games, you'd be paying $23.10. It has like 40 puzzles. Let's see, do we have any negative reviews? No, just 2 positive reviews, and both of which were given for free. And see, this is crazy because this looks good, and I know it looks good because it's very likely a lot of this is just asset flips, but they're combined well. They look nice. It kind of looks like Mirror's Edge. Let's just go ahead and keep on damaging this. It's a light puzzle bending game in a 3D environment. We've got a game called Russian Peace Duck that is an asset flip. You're playing a duck that is jumping over spikes and dodging under flames. Yep, it's an asset flip. This game is. Peak of 12 people for 30% off for 69 cents. No positive, 6 positive, no negative reviews. Alright, so we can full on transform this up. So this, and then 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 this, 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 and this. So like a full 10 mana, 11 mana minion. Yeah, we already talked about Lobotomy Corporation. There's a game called The Spy Who Shot Me. It looks awful. Let's see. Looks like it's from a developer who's made several kind of awful looking game. The Spy Who Shot Me looks like the equivalent of what GoldenEye 64 would have looked like. So if this was a mid-80s and you made a game like this, this probably would have sold pretty decently. But since it's early access and brand new and they want $7.91 right now with 12% off, I don't see any reason why anybody would buy this. Even if it does have 7 positive reviews somehow. I'll take victories if I can get them. Let's see. There's a game called Utawa Rumono Chiriyuki Mono Hino Komo Vituka. I'm not even gonna try to spell that. It's for PS4 and Vita. Coming out April 26th in Japan. If it does come out in the West, it's gonna get a different name. Certainly, looks like it may be of a quality that could come out. Certainly. There you go. We'll take victory. It's a remake of a previous version of that game. Hey, look at that. Rank 23. And we've got 4 victories now on this quest. So let's just switch over to the Americas account. Like, I think I'm gonna have to probably play tomorrow, and I'm not even gonna stream it because it would just be all silent post show at the very beginning. Because I need to rest my voice. I think I've been streaming every day this week, if not every day, nearly every day. Here's an interesting game. It's called Muso Mano, Ataque dos Haters. But then in the description, it is... See, I need to get a Druid or Rogue victory. Do we have a Druid or Rogue deck we can play? Nope. Well, we do have some wild ones we could probably play. A lot of these were things I made myself. So let's try this. It says Maso Mano Attack of the Haters is a platform adventure game based on the classic of 1990s in 3D graphics, featured by the Brazilian rapper and YouTuber Muso Mano. In the game, an evil hater has stolen Muso Mano's 1 million subscribers YouTube award, the Golden Play button. Is this a real YouTuber? Is this a YouTuber has commissioned, a Brazilian YouTuber has commissioned a platforming game and actually made a good looking platform game. Because if this Brazilian YouTuber has accomplished that, that is more than what you can say for Angry Video Game, you know, and PewDiePie and several other characters that have done this. Because this game doesn't look bad at all. It's early access, and it's $5. And it seems like it's a stupid idea. And it seems like this is probably a troll game, but it looks good. And I can't ignore the fact that this looks good. It's a Unity game, certainly. Let's just go ahead and play that. But it looks like it will work. And we already, I think, talked about the Humble Strategy bundle. So, yeah, I'm on the Humble store. So this will be our last game. And you know, I'm not even gonna do a post show. I've just decided. I'm just gonna take it easy. I'm just gonna play without anybody looking over my shoulder. Apologies, but there's plenty of other videos. Also, I need to upload videos, so it makes sense for me to take a break on my bandwidth and do all and just upload what I recorded and streamed yesterday instead of doing a silent post show and cheating a little bit on the Americas account. If Tragic Master is still on, which he probably is, I'm going to take a little bit of a break, but then if he sees me online and wants to challenge me, I'm more than willing to play him. And I think I'm good with the news. In fact, to be honest, I gotta take a break, a bathroom break right now, so I'm just gonna concede. Like, I hate admitting that as you're streaming, but I'm just gonna end this here. So we've done all the news, and we've got a lot of victories we need to do, and we need to get at least one of these done. A Druid and Rogue victory should be easy enough. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to friend or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. If you want to support me even further, get me a game on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.